Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. You are watching Patterns in Python and today we are going to discuss our 26th pattern, that is the butterfly pattern using stars. So let us start with our video. So like always I have drawn this particular pattern also in form of a grid, and here also it is a 10 cross 10 matrix, right? And in order to program this particular shape, I shall be dividing my pattern into two different portions, right? So I'm just drawing one line to divide these two portions, right? And in order to make you understand, I shall be numbering the total rows like 1 2 3 4 and 5, right? So I will be taking care of the upper portion for the first time, right? So just mentioning that we have total 5 rows, both in the upper half and in the lower half also, right? So now we need to see that what are the places where we need to print spaces and what are the places where we are actually putting these stars, right? So you can actually analyze it something like this. When the row number is 1, I have 1 star, space and 1 star, right? So it is in sync with this number, that is 1. When the row number is 2, I have 2 stars, some spaces and then 2 stars, right? 3, 3 stars, some spaces and 3 stars. So you can see that the stars are actually printing 2 times, right? But the number of stars is equal to the number of rows, right? That means I have to print the stars 2 times multiply by the number of rows. That is very clear. So if I show you the code, because I will be actually showing you the code also. So if I type it over here as 5, so you can see that the for loop is ranging from 1 to 6, that is from 1 to 5 it will be going, right? And I am using these two print statements for actually printing my stars, right? So the first print statement is star multiplied by I with a named argument end having an empty string, because after printing this particular star I do not want to change the row, because end is by default having slash n, that you know very well. So I don't want that. So I do not want to change the row, but I want that after certain space 1 star should print it again, right? So I have used this print statement star multiplied by my loop variable, that is I, but this time I haven't used end over here because now I wanted to change the line, right? So I have omitted the end over here, that you know it very well, right? So this particular for loop will be taking care of my upper half of my diagram, right? And it will be these print statements that will be printing these star values. In the first iteration I will start with 1, so I have these star and this star printed. In the second iteration the value of I will become 2 and I will be having these 2 stars with certain spaces that I will be discussing later. After these spaces, again these 2 star and then change the line, right? So now what we have seen, we have taken care of these stars. Now we have to take care about the spaces between these stars, right? So now I have this formula r minus I multiply by 2. If you remember, the same formula I have used in my pattern number 25. And why I have included this 25 pattern over here is because by just flipping the for loops, right? Put this for loop on the topmost portion and this one on the lower, you will be getting the butterfly portion, right? That is just the reverse of it, right? So we have used r minus I into 2 in this pattern also for the spaces. So now let us go back to our slide and see why r minus 1 multiplied by 2 can be the spaces over here, right? So r minus 1 r minus I whole multiplied by 2. Now this is the formula that we are actually going to work with, right? So here if I talk, I have spaces like 1, I have it as 2, 3, and if I see that these total will be actually 8, right? So if I see that is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8, right? So here the value of r is nothing but 5, right? The value of r is 5. For the first iteration, the value of I will be 1. So the value which I am getting over here will be nothing but 4, right? And 4, if I multiply by 2, what I am getting? 8, right? Check it for another value. The value will be again 5. The value of I in the second iteration will be 2. 5 minus 2 is nothing but 3. And if I multiply 3 by 2, I am getting 6. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Right? Let us see for one more thing. I have 5 as my R. The row value is 3. I will be getting 2 as my value, and 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. So let me see 1, 2, 3 and 4. Right? So actually this particular thing is taking care of my spaces. So let us come back to the code. Stars we have taken care of, and now this print statement will be helping us to print 8, 6, 4, 2 and 0 space respectively. Right? Similarly, talking about the lower half of my pattern, right? You can see if I number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it is better to see here the pattern in which the stars are printed. So if you can see it, we have 5 stars over here and 5 stars over here. Then it's 4, 3, 2, 1, both the sides, right? So we have having a decreasing pattern over here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Correct? So here the for loop that I have used is a decreasing loop. The value is initialized with R, that is 5. Right? So you can see first I have to print 5 stars. So in the first iteration, the value of I will be 5. So multiply it by 5. Now again, I do not want to change the row. So I have taken end named argument with an empty string. And this one is for the last 5 stars, and here I haven't used end clause because I want to change the row. That is clear very well, because in the previous videos also we have been using it multiple times, right? And again for this I am using the same formula, that is R minus I multiply by 2, and let us see that the spaces will be taken care by this value only, right? So the spaces will be 0, 2, 4, 6 and 8. Now let us see how 0 is coming over here, right? So the value of R is 5 as always, right? Over here the value of I will again be 5, right? And the answer will be 0, and anything multiplied by 0 is 0. So 2 multiplied by 0 is 0, so I do not have any space over here, right? Then again the value of R will be 5. Here the value of I will be now 4. So 5 minus 4 is equals to 1. 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. So I am getting 2 spaces, right? Similarly, 5 subtracted, you need to subtract 3 from 5. You will get 2. 2 multiplied by 2, you will be getting 4 spaces. Then again 6 and 8 spaces respectively. So that is how we are actually going to print this particular pattern. That is the butterfly pattern. I will be telling you one more thing of omitting this particular thing that is over here, R plus 1. We will be actually seeing that whether we should include this plus 1 into the pattern, and if we actually omit this one, so what will be the significant difference in your pattern. We are going to see it next on the ideally. So here let me just type in the code for you guys quickly. So int input, enter the number of rows, right? The for loop that we are going to use, I in range, the first for loop will be starting from R plus 1, right? And I will be using the print statement, printing the pattern of star multiplied by I, and here the end will be having an empty string. Now the next one, we will be taking care about the spaces in between. So I will be using these spaces multiplied by R minus I, right? Because the value, and I will be again multiplying it with 2. So let me just put this also in brackets, right? And again here I will be using end is equals to this, an empty string, because I do not want to change the line, right? Print, here I will be printing my star and multiplying by I, and I will be closing the print statement because now I want to change the line, right? Now another loop I am going to take in a range, and this will be a decreasing loop starting from R 0 minus 1, decrement by 1, and I will be just copying over here the code same as here, right? So that was the code with which we are going to print our butterfly, right? So let us see whether it's working fine or not. So enter the number of rows. Let me enter 5, and you can see that the pattern is printing as it is, right? So it is working very fine. So now what I am going to discuss is that here you can see that we have these two lines, the similar lines are drawn, two same lines. So it is a little bit different from the actual butterfly pattern. So for the actual butterfly pattern where the diagram is completely symmetric, you can either less down one iteration from the upper portion of your pattern, or you can also do r minus 1 over here. That is also I have told you several times. So I am just deleting one iteration, and let us see that whether we are going to get the correct answer here or not. So I'm just closing it and running it again because that was not working fine. So it's 5, and here you can see that it is the exact butterfly pattern. So those duplicacy of 5 star row, now it has been eradicated. So I hope that you understood how actually we use the previous pattern to make actually this particular different pattern, and stay tuned to my channel for exploring more different and difficult patterns in Python. Thank you.